I had never sewn leather before, but I made the most exclusive bag in the world. When I received this kit inspired by the legendary Birkin, I thought, what if I give it a try? But it wasn't just about putting it together, I wanted to understand what makes it so special. Without realizing it, I found myself on an unexpected journey, from the history of the bag to how it became a status symbol. In today's video, I'll show you the challenges of building this bag, what I discovered about its original design, and how creating something like this can completely change the way we think about luxury. It all began in 1983, when Jean-Louis Dumas, then CEO of Hermès, was on the same flight from Paris to London as British actress Jane Birkin. Jane was carrying a wicker basket as her bag, and when she tried to store it in the overhead compartment, everything spilled out. Dumas, who was sitting next to her, mentioned that she needed a more practical handbag. Jane explained she'd never found a bag that was both elegant and functional enough for her life as a young mother. Inspired by her ideas, Dumas began sketching a design mid-flight. And that's how the iconic Birkin bag was born, officially launched by Hermès in 1984. It was designed to be a large minimalist bag made from the finest materials, created for both everyday use and refined sophistication. Although the Birkin felt like a fresh design at the time, it actually had historical roots. It was based on the haut à courroie, a model Hermès developed in the early 20th century for horse riders to carry their boots and saddles. That strong functional structure became the foundation for what would evolve into a modern icon. Over the years, the Birkin went from being just a luxury handbag to becoming a symbol of status. Its handcrafted production, the option to customize it, the exclusive waiting list, and the nearly inaccessible price tag turned it into a highly coveted item. Nowadays, buying a Birkin isn't just about having the money, it's about being invited to purchase one. Hermès has carefully built a myth around owning one, tightly controlling its availability to fuel desire, prevent oversaturation, and reinforce the idea that a Birkin isn't something you buy, it's something you earn. Still, despite all the symbolism, the Birkin remains true to its artisan roots. Each bag is crafted entirely by a single artisan, from start to finish, who leaves a secret signature on the piece once it's complete. And that's where the dilemma lies. Is it a bag to wear or to display? A luxury object or a functional masterpiece? This whole experience got me thinking, what makes something truly valuable? For me, the real value lies in making it with your own hands, in the time you invest, and in the story you create along the way. It all started when Babylon Leather, a brand specializing in DIY kits for hand-stitched leather bags, invited me to try one of their kits. Of course, I chose the bag inspired by the iconic Birkin design, because I saw in that project a chance to explore the history and craftsmanship behind the bag. Everything arrives perfectly organized. It includes booklets and all the relevant information. The first thing I notice are the gifts included in the kit. A little horse charm to decorate the bag. A leather keychain or accessory charm. A pair of mini scarves to wrap around the bag handles. The kit also includes all the tools and materials you need to complete the bag. Black waxed threads, latex finger cuts, piping cord, positioning pins, leather sewing needles, thread snips, metal thimble, binder clip. These are all the pieces needed to assemble the bag. In this kit, the strap comes already stitched and ready to use. There's no need to measure or cut anything, since all the leather pieces come pre-cut. You just have to put them together like a puzzle. You can tell the leather is high quality, they specify it's full-grain cowhide leather. Very flexible and soft to the touch, with that unmistakable smell of real leather. A couple of reinforcement cords for the handles, and the front, back, and inner pocket pieces. There's also a video tutorial that explains everything step by step. You can access it by scanning the QR code in the booklet. It's a very easy tutorial to follow, though my biggest challenge was finding the right glasses to sew the kit. The first step is to estimate the amount of thread needed to stitch the slits where the straps will go. You tie a simple overhand knot with the thread, so you can sew with 2 needles and keep the thread from slipping. I have to use an awl to help myself because the kit I chose uses oblique stitching, which is more challenging. But the result is a stronger stitch and a more professional finish. Plus, the holes in the leather pieces are extremely precise, making it relatively easy to complete the bag even for beginners. The strap slits turned out great. Next, you sew the main slit on the bag's flap. And then you stitch all around the flap's edge. I finally finished sewing the entire flap. The next step is to sew the inner pocket. Then, you attach that piece to the front panel. At times, I need some extra help to see the holes in the leather. It's exciting to see the front part coming together. Now it's time to sew the handles, inserting the handle core. With lots of patience and the tutorial guiding me every step of the way, I figured it out. Not gonna lie, this part was quite the challenge. Compared to working on the handles, stitching the straps felt like a break. Well, except for the needle poke. Sewing the bottom of the bag is a bit trickier because the material is much thicker, and it already claimed the life of a couple of needles. But with patience, everything is coming together nicely. After several days though, eye strain is inevitable, especially because oblique stitching on black leather doesn't make things easier. Now it's time to attach the side panels and add the piping cord. Now entering the final stage, I begin attaching the base to the body of the bag, covering the seams with a long leather strip. This whole process happens simultaneously, joining the body to the base with the piping strip and the inner reinforcement leather strip. The bag is almost finished. I just need to turn it inside out carefully to avoid damaging the leather. Pressing the edges slightly helps it hold its shape. And the final touch, stitching the clochette, the little leather cover for the bag's keys. Finally, after many hours of work and several meters of thread, I can say I finished the bag entirely hand-stitched. And if you've never worked with leather before, this kit gives you the chance to dive into leathercraft in an accessible and approachable way. And enjoy the process every step of the way. The bag is complete, but as with any design, details make all the difference. Now I'll show you how I made the scarves that decorate the handles, which also tell their own story. While learning about Jane Birkin's story, I came across photos of her, wearing her bag so freely, so naturally. She decorated it with scarves, necklaces, books, even unexpected things. She didn't treat it like a luxury item, but as an extension of her life. Inspired by that, I decided to give mine a personal touch. I'll make a shibori-dyed scarf to decorate it, and also 2 scarves for the handles, inspired by the style of the Hermès Twillies scarf. The shibori technique I'm using is the simplest one. It consists of scrunching the fabric from the center and pinning it in place before tying it, so it doesn't lose its shape. As I start tying the fabric, I'll carefully remove the pins. Now this little bundle is ready for dyeing. I'll be dyeing it in black. Time to reveal the result. A marbled effect with bold black and white contrast. I call this pattern Shibori Marble. I decided to finish the edges of the scarf with a mitered corner for a cleaner, more elegant look. You can see these stitching and shibori dyeing techniques in previous videos. I'll leave the links in the cards and in the description. I'll use these silk scraps from a previous project to make the scarves for the bag handles. It's very simple to do, and you only need a tiny bit of fabric. You can make them in just a few minutes. The perfect way to give your bag a unique touch with your favorite fabric. Maybe I'll never own an Hermès bag, and honestly, it's never been a goal of mine. But creating my own, even if it's not an original, connected me with something deeper. The value of time, of learning new skills, and of the story you give to the things you make. What I have now is not just a bag, it's an experience that brought me closer to design, to history, to craftsmanship, and to myself. And that to me is true luxury. Thank you, Babylon Leather, for bringing us closer to the experience of creating with our own hands. If the idea of making your own inspires you, I'll leave the link in the description.